A good evening to you all, and thank you for joining us here on Rwanda Television News tonight. We do hope you had yourselves a productive Tuesday. Now, here's a sneak peek of our edition. The Office of the Prosecutor General of Rwanda says that in the past 6 years, it has received 68 reports of human trafficking crimes involving both Rwandans and foreigners. One of the young women serving in Rwanda's counter-terrorism unit in the National Police encourages fellow youth to make the most of the opportunities the country has provided to young people and women in particular. On the international scale, Bangladesh is in mourning after a military plane crashed into a school in the capital, Dhaka. At least 31 people were killed, most of them young children, and more than 170 injured. Once again, we're glad to have your company tonight, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali, and our bringing you tonight's English Bulletin is Martina Abera. Now, let us begin by informing you that the Office of the Prosecutor General of Rwanda says that in the past 6 years, it has received 68 reports of human trafficking crimes involving both Rwandans and foreigners. However, the prosecution notes that identifying the perpetrators of this crime remains challenging due to the deceptive and complex methods used in human trafficking. On April 23, 2025, 10 people were repatriated to Rwanda from Myanmar by the Rwandan government. These individuals had been lured under false promises of good jobs, only to end up subjected to forced labor and internet-based fraud activities. They reported having gone through a long journey to reach that country. The return of these Rwandans highlights the strong efforts Rwanda has made in combating human trafficking. This was also emphasized by Dr. Murangira B. Thierry, spokesperson for the Rwanda Investigation Bureau. Faustin Moussi, the spokesperson of the Office of the Prosecutor General, reiterated that in the past 6 years, they received 68 human trafficking cases, reporting involving both Rwandans and foreigners. He added that although the office investigates crimes committed both within and outside the country, there are still challenges in identifying and tracking down the perpetrators of this crime. According to data from RIB, from June 2024 to May 2025, 105 Rwandans were repatriated after being trafficked to other countries. Between June 2019 and July 2024, 39 people were intercepted at the airport while they were on the way to being trafficked. Additionally, between July 2024 and March 2025, the trafficking plans involving 57 people were foiled. Moving ahead, the Parliamentary Standing Committee on National Unity, Human Rights and the Fight Against Genocide has praised the steps taken to strengthen social cohesion among Rwandans based on the National Unity and Reconciliation Policy adopted in 2020. At Unity Hill in the settlement of Rusheshe Masaka Sector, Kicukiro District, where legislators concluded their 16-district monitoring tour of government unity programs, this historically divided area is being transformed. The Rabagirana Ministries organized has initiated the Unity Hill project to unite families with different historical backgrounds, helping them overcome trauma, achieve development, and counter the effects of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. Rusheshe now hosts a Rwandan Cultural Heritage Center and unity and conciliation groups, bringing together genocide survivors, perpetrators, historians, war veterans, returnees from Tanzania, and other diverse groups. The committee's chairperson, Honorable Madina Ndangiza, has noted that the findings demonstrate the substantial work by the government and its partners. Figures from the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement show that in 2015, the Unity Reconciliation Index stood at 82.3% and has risen to its current figure of 94.7%. One of the young women serving in Rwanda's counterterrorism unit in the National Police encourages fellow youth to make the most of the opportunities the country has provided to young people and women in particular, because the future of Rwanda will be built by the strength and dedication each person puts into their work while they are still young. We have more of this report coming from Inora Gladys.
It is early in the morning. PC Janvier Ouimana, a 22-year-old woman, together with her colleagues, including men, are up for physical training at the Counter-Terrorism Training Center. After the workout, they proceed with other practical exercises to enhance the skills they've acquired. They climb ropes, scale structures, jump from heights, and dive into water, all part of what's known as obstacle navigation, simulating potential challenges in real-life missions. PC Janvier Ouimana says she ensures each day is well planned for her to perform at her best.
I
wake up and pray, then clean up the place where I slept. After that, I do my personal workouts. Once I'm done, I take care of my personal hygiene as usual. After cleaning up, I have my breakfast, and then I go join my colleagues so we can start work. She explains that from a young age, she admired security forces, but her true motivation to join the police came from seeing all the Rwandan women in the force doing their job with passion.
In our
Rwandan police force, there are some women who do this job of ours, and you can see that they are older. They could even be at the age of having grandchildren, yet they are still doing this work. So for me, at my age, when I saw that someone of that age can do this job, I felt that me too, at my age, I am capable of doing it. Now dedicated to the field of counterterrorism, she believes fulfilling her responsibilities starts with self-confidence and being consistently obedient to orders. To be a good counter-terrorist, the first requirement is to be a good police officer. Being a good counter-terrorist doesn't mean that other police officers can't do it, because any police officer can. The first thing it takes is passion for the job, using your strength and having a sense of ownership and discipline. You need to follow the orders you're given at the right time. Obedience is very important in this job, because when you follow the instructions you're given, you won't end up doing something outside of the work you are assigned.
Thanks
to the training she has received, PC Janvier Ouimana now has a range of skills, but her favorite is operating the large sniper rifle. She expresses a desire to serve with excellence, even internationally, to bring pride to the Rwanda National Police, which empowered her. Thanks to the training I've received in this job, I've learned many things I didn't know before, and I really enjoy them. For example, using a sniper rifle is something I've come to love very much. I feel that I need to gain even more knowledge about that weapon, and I want to master it beyond what I already know, so that if my country even needs me, I can contribute effectively. Rwanda National Police spokesperson ACP Boniface Rutikanga says PC Ouimana Janvier is a prime example that a girl, when given the same education and training as her male peers, can deliver excellent results. However, he emphasizes that all must uphold professional values in the workplace. That counter-terrorist member you mentioned is an example of something we used to mostly associate with men only. But when you look at her, you immediately see that the idea of saying this job is for boys no longer holds, because she is a young girl, still very early in her career in the police, yet what she is doing is possible. She is another example that shows nothing is impossible. The leadership is there, and there are programs in place to support their development, and the opportunity is open to everyone. But what I should say is that discipline, willingness, and commitment to the programs all play a big role in the level that young woman has reached. PC Janvier Uwimana also urges women and girls to rise up and seize the opportunities their country has given them, to overcome any obstacles and strive for development. There are many jobs one can do, like being a teacher or a doctor, especially as a woman. Depending on the opportunities you get, there is so much you miss out if you don't take advantage of them, because it means you're putting your dreams to sleep. You also need to have goals, because they help you achieve those dreams. Together with peers, PC Janvier Uwimana has participated in several counterterrorism competitions, where they performed impressively and even won awards. Enra Gladys, reporting for Rwanda Television.
The Ministry of Health has stated that it is renovating and expanding various hospitals across the country to address the shortage of hospital beds and improve healthcare services. This comes after reports from citizens about difficulties in finding available beds for patients. One mother came from Gicumbi district to seek treatment for her 4-year-old child at a referral hospital in Kigali city. She was told no beds were available and had to return home, coming back the next day when one became available. She's not alone, as other residents have raised the same issue and request urgent solutions. The Minister of Health, Dr. Saben Sanzimana, says this problem will be resolved through ongoing hospital renovation and expansion projects nationwide. The bed shortage causes delays in treatment for some patients. The Ministry of Health reports that in the past 31 years, Rwanda has built over 510 centers, 57 hospitals, 1,200 primary healthcare facilities, and 6 university teaching hospitals, all aimed at strengthening healthcare service delivery capacity. Now, political and governance experts believe that the 31 years since the establishment of Rwanda's government of national unity have served as the cornerstone of the country's development, rooted in inclusive foundational principles. We have more of this story coming from Adam Squizera.
Dr. Pierre Celestin Guidema, one of the members of the first government of national unity, recalls that this government was established 2 weeks after the Rwanda Patriotic Front, RPF Inkotanyi, stopped the 1994 genocide against Tutsi. As the first Minister of Education, after the genocide against Tutsi, he describes this day of swearing in of this government as a critical turning point in the nation's history. On the day of the swearing in, we were informed, but we were told we would be joining the government, yet we had no suits or cars. Fortunately, we were lucky to receive support from the security personnel, including RPF soldiers, who helped us to get suits from shops. We also managed to find some cars that were available without clear owners at that time. Then we went to swear in. Ambassador Joseph Nsengimana, who served as the Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research, notes that this government reflected how deeply fractured the unity of Rwandans had become, and that restoring this unity was a national priority. Even though it was called the government of unity, there wasn't that unity. It was to be built. Dr. Celestin Guidema, later appointed as Prime Minister, highlights that although some early members of the unity government eventually fled, showing that they hadn't truly embraced the ideas of unity, the very creation of the government was illustrated from the RPF's clear and determined vision for the Rwanda's future. That vision was later solidified in what became known as the Urugwiro Dialogues. a series of national consultations that laid down the country's foundational values and guiding principles, as emphasized by Ambassador Joseph Nsengimana. That was the reason behind initiating the Urugwiro Dialogue, to bring people together and hold discussions that would lead to key commitments for the implementation. During these dialogues, they focused on unity, justice, and security, recognized that true unity could not be achieved without ensuring security.
haba kuganira ku mutekano birumvikana ubwo bumwe ntabwo bwashoboraga kuba hatari umutekano.
Prote Musoni, a senior advisor to the RPF and one of its founding members, asked that Urugwiro Dialogues prioritize unity, the bedrock of national recovery and transformation. The first priority was to reflect on a fundamental question: who are we? It was essential to recognize the challenges the country was facing in order to understand and address them. That's when 5 key issues were identified and brought onto the dialogue agenda. These included restoring the national unity that had been destroyed, rejecting the kind of governance that led to the genocide, as could not be the foundation for building the country, ensuring justice in the aftermath of the genocide, addressing the critical issue of security, and stabilizing an economy that had been severely shaken. Those were core focus areas of the dialogue. After a 9-year transitional period, Rwanda held its first post-genocide elections in 2003, marking the beginning of a citizen-driven democratic governance system. Since then, Rwandans have actively participated in choosing their leaders through elections and contributed to the development of a homegrown constitution. The shift from Vision 2020 to Vision 2050 reflects not only the country's ambition for rapid development, but also the tangible outcomes of good governance, built upon the solid foundation of national unity. Although the government of national unity was formed during the interim period, even today, many still refer to it as the government of unity. Rwanda's history shows that unity will remain the cornerstone of the national development, and only development rooted in unity can guarantee lasting resilience. Dr. Pierre Celestin.
Thank you, Adam Squizera, for that report. Now, the Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resources Development Board has announced that the program for local seed multiplication in the country has achieved encouraging progress, with some seeds now being prepared for export. In different seasons, farmers often faced challenges in accessing crop seeds since they were previously multiplied outside Rwanda. Currently, however, Rwanda has invested efforts in seed multiplication. The Deputy Director General in charge of Agricultural Development at RAB, Dr. Florence Wamahoro, has confirmed that currently many basic crop seeds are now multiplied within Rwanda. In the past year alone, Rwanda multiplied over 5,600 tons of maize seeds, while the national need stood at 5,000 tons, meaning the surplus will be exported.
Moments. Laying hoops. Giving away. Making moves. Breakfast with family. Inyanje is always there. Whenever the occasion, whatever the moment, always ask for Inyanje.
Nyiri muto arababwiraga data bati ntabwo wagira umukamo mwinshi utunze inka imwe, ariko nigeze acika intege. Mama akinjira mu bucuruzi hari abamubwiraga bati ntabwo watera imbere udakorera mu iduka rigezweho, ariko ntibyamusubije inyuma, yakoranaga umwete. Njya muri kaminuza hari abanshidikanyagaho bavuga ko nashobora kaminuza naturuka mu muryango wifashije, ariko byarangiye nanditse amateka mashya. Igihe cyo gutera ishema umuryango wanjye kigeze, bamwe bakomeje kumbwira bati ntabwo watera umuryango wawe ibyishimo n'ishema, ariko narabishoboye. Hari abakekaga ko nasigira umurage ukomeye abankomokaho, ariko ubu mfite uruganda rutunganya amata. Banki ya Kigali yabaye umufatanyabikorwa wanjye mu rugendo rwose, inzozi zanjye ziba impamo. Bigereho.
Thank you for sticking with us on RTV News, and welcome back to other stories making headlines on the international scene. Heading over to Bangladesh, which is in mourning after a military plane crashed into a school in the capital, Dhaka. At least 31 people were killed, most of them young children, and more than 170 injured. The Air Force jet went down during a training flight. DW News with the details.
Anguish on the face of a man waiting at this hospital in Dhaka. He is among dozens of family members desperately waiting for news of their loved ones after a military jet crashed into a school. According to the Air Force, the plane was on a routine training mission but experienced a mechanical failure shortly after takeoff. They said the pilot attempted to divert the plane from populated areas but failed, resulting in the deadliest aviation accident in the capital in recent memory.
We extend our deepest sympathies to the parents, families and loved ones. Please try to find comfort among yourselves. We are all trying to comfort one another. What a tremendous tragedy this is. We are with you. The entire nation stands with you.
As investigators begin to peel back the layers of charred and mangled rubble, it remains unclear exactly what kind of mechanical failure led to the crash and many victims.
In our initial assessment, around 25 people are still in a critical condition. We hope that many of them will eventually be out of danger.
Those who survived face a long road to recovery. This student's quick thinking likely saved his life. My son managed to speak to us. He said he was in the staircase, heading towards the canteen, when he heard a deafening sound. Then he realised his school shirt had caught on fire. He sprinted to the ground floor and jumped on the grass to douse it. He tore off his vest and his shirt, which saved him from severe burns. Outside the crash site, hundreds of students gathered to demand accountability. They said they wanted accurate information about the victims, compensation for the families, and an end to what they called outdated and unsafe training aircraft used by the Air Force.
In Pakistan, a crackdown against people keeping big cats as illegal pets has been launched in the province of Bulletin. So far, 26 big cats have been rescued and 8 people arrested. It comes after one lion escaped in the city of Lahore, attacking a woman and 2 children and triggering public outrage. Dramatic CCTV footage showed how the big cat leaped over a concrete wall and chased the woman down as terrified onlookers ran for safety. BBC News with more.
Caged and abandoned. Cubs rescued, one by one. Officials worry that parents are hidden away in unsafe conditions.
People breed lions and then sell the cubs to others who keep them as pets on rooftops. So these breeding farms are the root of the problem.
The man responsible is missing, leaving his caretaker holding the bag. Public pressure has led to nearly daily raids. After this video triggered a public uproar, a pet lion escaping and attacking a woman and 2 children in Lahore. One breeder has been given 3 months to build bigger cages and comply with guidelines.
What about their welfare, their well-being?
We have a veterinary doctor. He visits like every after 2-3 days. They are happy, I think. They're eating, they're breeding.
How can you tell they're happy?
Because they come to us, they want to play with us, and they don't show aggression. Yeah.
What about this one? Ooh!
This lion is aggressive.
Aggressive?
Yeah.
Big cats are extremely popular in Punjab. Symbol of the ruling PMLN party, supporters defy laws and occasionally take them to rallies.
Now, as these raids continue, there are still people who are openly selling lions and cubs. And we managed to get in touch with one man in a busy neighborhood. These are the cubs over here that he has bred.
More people watch others with lions on social media and get tempted to buy them, especially since 2015.
There are so many big cats in Punjab, officials worry there isn't enough space in public zoos to relocate them. As for the cubs they rescued earlier, they're receiving medical checks before they're released into the main park. Officials say soon, more big cats will join them. Azadeh Mashiri, BBC News, Islamabad.
Gang leaders, corrupt officials and police officers, fake passport dealers and companies supplying small boats could be among those publicly named in UK sanctions targeting people smuggling. The measures are essential to Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer's plan to clamp down on small boat crossings by going after the global criminal networks behind them. Dozens of individuals and entities are expected to be hit with asset freezes, travel bans and restrictions from engaging with the UK's financial system under the sanctions. It comes as the government comes under growing pressure to stem the flow of small boat crossings. BBC once more.
The last government pledged to stop the boats. This one promises to smash the gangs. But the boats keep coming, and the government's looking for new ways to crack down on the business of people smuggling. Tomorrow, the first sanctions will be imposed under new powers, going after those responsible for bringing people on dangerous, illegal journeys to the UK. The initial wave is expected to include a couple of dozen names. More than 20,000 migrants have crossed the Channel since the start of this year, a big increase on the same period 12 months ago, though numbers in 2024 were down from 2 years earlier. Among the targets of the first new sanctions will be people supplying the small boats, selling fake passports and facilitating payments, as well as gang leaders. They'll have any assets here frozen, be banned from travelling to the UK, and it'll be illegal for British businesses to deal with them. But questions have been asked about how easy sanctions will be to enforce and what impact they'll have. And they won't be a quick fix.
I would say to the government that enforcement has a role to play. Sanctions like those being announced today have a role to play, but there are no magic bullets. And actually, there is no simple solution. This is a complex issue. And the government needs to recognise that. It needs to look at what can be done to support people who are fleeing wars to stay in neighbouring countries.
The government says criminal gangs are preying on the hopes of the vulnerable. It wants to name and shame those making themselves rich in what is a multi-billion-pound global trade that shows no sign of stopping. Caroline Hawley, BBC News.
And that BBC story marks the end of our bulletin. Before we close off, let's have a recap of our headlines. The Office of the Prosecutor General of Rwanda says that in the past 6 years, it has received 68 reports of human trafficking crimes involving both Rwandans and foreigners. One of the young women serving in Rwanda's counter-terrorism unit in the National Police encourages fellow youth to make the most of the opportunities the country has provided to young people and women in particular. On the international scale, Bangladesh is in mourning after a military plane crashed into a school in the capital of Dhaka. And on that note, we've come to the end of our English news bulletin. And on behalf of the news production team as well as the technical team, thank you for sticking with us on RTV News. My name is Martina Abera. And until next time, stay safe and have a good night.